and welcome to my Midnight Spookshow on the Horror and Metal channel. I'm your host, Hellhound, and today we're going to be doing a tag video, but not just any tag video, my very own tag video. That's right, this is the first tag video that I've ever created. I've participated in several tag videos before in the past, but this is the first one that's my very own. I created this one, I came up with the questions, my very first tag video, so yeah, it's a very exciting day, because finally made my first tag video. So if I did tag you, and if you're going to make a video response to this, make sure you tell everybody that it's you were tagged by Hellhound from the Horror Metal channel, since that's the name of my channel. The name of my channel isn't Hellhound, it's Horror Metal, but I'm Hellhound. I'm just part of the Horror and Metal family here in this channel. I did start this channel. So basically it's going to be Hellhound's Horror and Metal tag by Hellhound from the Horror and Metal channel. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. Yeah, I couldn't think of any other topics, so I figured why not just name the video my first tag video after my channel and have horror and metal related questions. Now, for those of you, my viewers that I'm going to tag, or if you just want to make a response anyway, I'm going to, you can still, I'll let you know who I'm going to tag at the end, but if you still want to make a video and I didn't tag you by name, go ahead. But for those of you who aren't metalheads, who don't listen to metal, don't despair, because the metal-related questions I left very vague. I came with very vague, open questions, and if you don't listen to metal, just consider them music questions. Like, for example, if I ask you, what's your favorite metal album? If you don't listen to metal, just say what your favorite album in general is, your favorite music album. Get it? Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on. Again, not all my viewers are metalheads, but most of them are horror fans, so, and all the people I'm going to tag are definitely horror fans, and I know that they make videos, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, question number 1. My very first ever question, my very first tag video. Yay! Alright, question number 1. How do you watch horror movies? Do you watch them on TV? Do you collect them like I do? Do you watch them on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, Beta, Laserdisc, CED, video disc? Do you watch them at nighttime, daytime? Do you watch them with the lights out, surrounded by candles? How do you watch horror movies? What gets you in the perfect mood? What's the right atmosphere? All that stuff. What's the best way to watch a horror film in your opinion? What format and what what setting, what location, what time of day, all that junk. So yeah, that's my first question. How do you watch horror movies? For me, I watch them on every format, every time of day, no matter what time of day it is. I watch horror movies all day long, no matter what day or no matter where I am. I could be on a cruise, I could be in a plane, I could be stranded on a desert island, as long as I have a portable DVD player or whatever. I watch horror movies anywhere and anytime. So, alright, question number 2. This is the first metal-related question. Again, there's going to be 4 horror questions and 4 metal questions, alternating between each one. Alright, question number 2. What are 2 metal albums you've listened to ad nauseum? 2 metal albums that you just worn out. You listen to them to death. You listen to them so much that you have every song memorized note by note, and you're sick to death of them. You're tired of them. That's how much you listen to them. Now, again, if you're not a metalhead, just consider this question: what are 2 music albums, just 2 albums in general you listen to ad nauseum? So again, don't worry, if you don't listen to metal, there's a way around it. And if you don't listen to music, if you're not a music fan, just skip these questions, I guess. Skip all the even number questions. Anyway, question number 2. What are 2 metal albums you listen to ad nauseum? For me, it would be Master of Puppets by Metallica and Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. I wore those CDs out. I'm surprised they still work. I'm surprised they didn't melt with how many times I've popped those albums into my player. I listen to them literally to death. I'm sick of them now. I hardly ever listen to them anymore. I've already listened to them way too much. That's a huge compliment. I'm not insulting either album. It means they're great albums because I've listened to them so much. You wouldn't believe how many times I've listened to those 2 albums. It's just been... I've heard both of those albums. I've heard all those songs more than I've heard my own name called. So, yeah. And I've seen the album covers more often than I've seen my own reflection in the mirror. So yeah, that's how much I've listened to those albums. Which 2 albums are you sick to death of? Alright, now we're going to make it a little more interesting. Those 2 questions weren't all that unique or well thought out. Then I came up with some better ones in the later questions. Okay, now we're going to get a little more interesting territory, I think. Question number 3, another horror-related question, so everybody should be able to answer this one. Question number 3, who would win in a 4-way tournament between Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, and Leatherface? I would love to see a crossover film featuring the big 4 of slasher villains. Now, we've already seen Jason fight Freddy, And but what if all 4 of them were at a tournament? Now the thing is, it really depends on the setting, but let's go and say they were like in a room with nothing else. They had their respective weapons. You know, Jason had his machete, Michael Myers had his knife, Freddy had his glove with the knife fingers on it, and Leatherface, of course, had his chainsaw. And let's say it's in the real world, so Freddy wouldn't be able to use any of his powers or special abilities. He wouldn't be able to manipulate reality with his otherworldly powers, you know, so he's just basically immortal. He's just a normal guy with a burnt face and knives in his skull, because otherwise it would be totally unfair. He'd be able to beat everybody else. I mean, you know, I think Myers probably wouldn't ever be afraid of him, so maybe he couldn't get Myers even in his dreams. I think the other 2, Jason and Freddy, he could probably easily overpower in the dream world. But let's say in the real world, who would win? Now, I think Leatherface has the best weapon, and if Freddy was a normal guy, he would probably use his mind. You know, he'd be like he's probably the smartest one, him and Myers. So he'd probably use, you know, he'd use his mind against them. He would outsmart them. He would try to outthink them. And I think that would work for a while, but I still think he might be the first to go. You know, because, you know, I mean, let's face it, in the real world, he's not nearly as powerful, and if he's, you know, relying on his wits alone, still, if they're all locked in a room with nothing else, no other additional weapons or extra hazardous dangers or anything, I think he'd be the first to go. So I think Freddy would be out, then probably Leatherface, although he does have the best weapon, as I said, the chainsaw. I think it would become between Michael and Jason, and ultimately, I think Jason would win. Because Jason's a zombie, he can't be killed. He's come back from, I mean, he's been shot, he's been stabbed, he's been burned, he's drowned, he's been electrocuted, he's been chopped into pieces, he's been blown to smithereens, he's been burned up in space's atmosphere, he's been beheaded, he's been, you know, well, maybe not beheaded, but, well, when he blew up, he was beheaded, blown to pieces. He's been through all that stuff, and he still comes back. Now, Myers has been burned to a crisp, and he is also decapitated, but that was retconned to where he actually wasn't the one decapitated. So I think Michael Myers, while almost unkillable and pretty much immortal, and unstoppable force of evil, I still think Jason would beat him. All he's got to do is behead him, cut him up into pieces. There's no coming back from that. Jason could come back from that. He could possess somebody, turn into that little demonic worm thing, gets into another body, like in Jason Goes to Hell. The director, Adam Marcus, actually wished me happy birthday one time a while back, too. So just thought I'd mention that. I don't know why I thought of that just now. But anyway, very cool guy. Adam Marcus, very awesome guy. I like Jason Goes to Hell. I think it's underrated. I understand it's got his flaws, it's got his problems, it's the black sheep of the series, but still very entertaining. And great gore, great nudity, great kills, awesome looking Jason, despite, you know, messing with mythology a little bit. But anyway, get off on a tangent. I think Jason will win ultimately. And I could go into further detail about this, but I'll be here all day. I think that, so yeah, I think in conclusion, Freddy would die first, then Leatherface, then Michael, and Jason would be the victor. I like them all, so I'd be happy no matter who wins, but I think that Jason would win ultimately, given the circumstances. You know, Freddy doesn't have his dream abilities. Leatherface is the only one that's a mere mortal, a total human, you know. Jason's a zombie, Freddy's a ghost, Michael Myers is like an unstoppable supernatural force. Though his, you know, it's kind of, it depends on what movie you watch with Myers. Sometimes he's kind of been more human, but anyway, let's move on. Question number 4, again, another metal-related question. Who are your top 5 favorite metal vocalists and why? Now, you guys probably already know, if you watch my videos, who I'm going to pick. And again, if you're not a metalhead, if you don't listen to metal, it's just who are your top 5 vocalists in general from any music genre, if you don't listen to metal. If you don't listen to music, skip it. My top 5 are Rob Halford from Judas Priest, Ronnie James Dio from Elf, Black Sabbath, Rainbow, Heaven and Hell, Dio, and a bunch of others. Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, Jeff Tate from Queensryche, and King Diamond from Merciful Fate and King Diamond. They're my favorites because they can hit those high notes, they all have a wide range, they're all great frontmen, they got a powerful presence, they're excellent songwriters as well, and they're just way too damn talented for their own good. And they're a very important part of an influential part of the metal genre. And so again, who are your top 5? And if you don't listen to metal, who are your top 5 singers in any genre? Alright, question number 5. Why do you love horror, and what does the genre mean to you? Now for me, the one constant in my life has been I've always loved scary stuff. Scary stuff. Graveyards, creepy old houses, cornfields at night, haunted forests, just anything that's creepy or scary. And it makes me feel, I love getting scared. I love going in haunted fun houses. And the thing is, I've been doing it for so long, I'm very jaded, very desensitized now. I don't get scared anymore. Nothing shocks me anymore. Nothing disturbs me anymore. I've seen it all. you know, not trying to sound like a macho guy. I've been watching, you know, this stuff my whole life. I eat, drink, and sleep horror essentially, and breathe it too. But I always love scary stuff. It gives me a very safe, secure feeling for some reason. I don't know. Maybe watching a horror movie on TV, watching something bad happen to other people, that I feel safe and sound in my own room when I'm, you know, or something. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I've always loved horror. This is like one constant. My taste in music has changed. Other things have come and gone, but the one constant in my life has been I've always loved a good ghost story. I've always loved a good horror movie. I just love eerie atmosphere. I love the macabre. I love the dark side. I love the occult. Anything that's, you know, scary or dreary or ominous. It's just, I'm all over that shit. So, why do you love horror? I could probably go on and on and on about my explanation, but we're reaching the 10-minute mark now. We're a little over halfway done. So let's go ahead and move on. Question number 6. What bands got you into metal? And again, if you don't listen to metal, it's what bands got you into music, what bands you grew up with. Well, for me, I started with classic rock. I grew up with classic rock. You know, The Doors, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Rush, Queen, Blue Oyster Cult, Deep Purple, Jethro Tull, Pink Floyd, Leonard Skinner, stuff like that. I also grew up with 80s new wave like Depeche Mode and, you know, stuff like that. Then I got into grunge and alternative, you know, stuff like Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Tool, Rage Against the Machine, stuff like that. And then like the early 2000s, I started getting into like new metal, you know, all about, you know, bands like Slipknot, Korn, Linkin Park, System of a Down, Disturbed, Godsmack, Static X, Mudvayne, Drowning Pool, Mushroomhead, Saliva, Power Man 5000, OTEP, Alien Ant Farm, Dope. I know it's a long list, but, you know, I love telling my musical background. I love talking about my music story and hearing about other people's music history. So I would name all the bands you grew up with. So those bands kind of were the gateway for me. Then I kind of worked my way backward, you know, started listening to more like Sabbath and Priest, then got into heavier stuff, then started getting into thrash metal, you know, then death metal. I always wondered what was the next heaviest, next most shocking thing. Then finally black metal, which I feel like is kind of the graduation point. When you get into black metal, it's kind of like the final leveling up you do as a metal fan, at least in my opinion, because there's very little that's more shocking and disturbing with black metal without coming across as just comical and cheesy and like kind of ridiculous. So I think black metal is kind of like the final stage in every metalhead's journey, you know, or at least for mine and most of my people I know. So yeah, now obviously I'm into, you know, stuff like Slayer, Merciful Fate, Death, Cannibal Corpse, Possessed, Exodus, Entombed, Autopsy, Megadeth, Testament, Death Angel. The list goes on and on. There's so many great bands. Dio, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah, metal rules. And again, if you don't listen to metal, what music do you like and how did you get into that music? What were the bands you grew up with? Okay, anyway, moving on. Question number 7. What's your favorite type of horror film? You like slashers, haunted house movies, monster movies, which, you know, includes zombies and vampires, aliens, or like more sci-fi stuff as well, anthologies, torture crap, found footage, exorcism, possession type stuff, you know, evil children, you know, what kind of horror movies are your favorite? For me, I like all of it. It's all awesome. Oh yeah, all of it, except for found footage. Even though some of that's okay, but the Blair Witch Project was pretty good, but stuff like Paranormal Activity, can't get into it, sorry. Just not my cup of tea. But let me know what your favorite is, and let's go and move on to the final question, question number 8. And that's, if you could bring back any deceased metal musician, who would it be? For me, that's a no-brainer. Definitely Ronnie James Dio. Feel free to include as many answers as you want to that, but I'm just going to include my top one. That's Ronnie James Dio. Not only he's my second favorite vocalist, like I mentioned earlier, next to Rob Halford, but he's also my idol. I loved watching him in interviews. I loved watching him talk. He seemed very intelligent, very down-to-earth. He had some excellent views on the world and just in politics and religion and philosophy in general. He was a very brilliant man, and, you know, not only was he very important to metal and just, you know, huge icon in the heavy metal scene, but he was also a very awesome person, a true legend in every way. So Ronnie James Dio is the one I would bring back. Again, if you're not a metalhead, if you don't listen to metal, what deceased musician would you bring back? So it could be anybody. You know, it could be Prince or David Bowie or Elvis, you know, anybody. All right, that's the final question, and thank you for watching Hellhound's Horror and Metal Tag. which is created by Hellhound from the Horror and Metal channel. So make sure if you do film this video, make sure you know, make sure you let them know in the description or in the video or whatever that you were tagged by Hellhound from the Horror Metal channel. Once again, you know, make sure they know which channel it is, because people try to search for my channel, they might type in Hellhound, and you know it's not gonna come up. His name of my channel is Horror Metal, so just make sure you clarify. I know it's a little confusing, but you know. Anyway, I'm gonna be tagging. Ready for this? I am tagging Sean Erschen, Bronco Juggalo, Horrific Nightmares JM, Lisa Loves, Dave Maggot, Last Venom 76, and probably Matt the Collector as well. So I know he doesn't listen to metal, but again, he could just go with music in general, any genre. Alright guys, and plus I'm going to leave it open. If you want to do the video, go ahead, feel right ahead. Just let me know that you did it in the comments, and let me give a link to your video so I can see it, and or just answer the questions in a comment. Either way, so yeah, if I tagged you by name, go ahead and film your video and let me know that you did. And if you still want to do the tag and I didn't tag you by name, feel free. I'm gonna leave it open, but just let me know that you did so. Alright guys, well that's Hellhound's Horror and Metal tag, my very first tag video ever, and hopefully first of many to come. So thank you for watching, look forward to seeing your responses, and until next time, later.